although Black women are not in this industry, I'm here and I'm here to stay. So when people see me, I go, no, honey, I am the boss. So that's the title. That if anything I care about is that title, because it says a lot more than just the title. And second of all, you're getting some spice
Mhm.
from me to put into this very industry.
You're listening to the Presidential Experience Podcast, the place where we chronicle man's search for meaning over money. I'm your host, Kanae Corder, National Certified Counselor and Clinical Hypnotherapist specializing in financial therapy for high achievers. As a former Morgan Stanley financial advisor, I realized that high achievers needed help with more than just the numbers. And I bring a unique set of skills to my private practice as I guide CEOs and high achievers on how to manage their stress so they can enjoy their success. I want to bring some of that to you here. So each week, we'll start a discussion addressing one of the top stressors for high achievers. You've built a stellar resume. Now it's time for you to build a stellar life. Your hard work brought you money. Now it's time to turn that money into meaning here on the Presidential Experience Podcast. Welcome to Presidential Experience. Hey guys, I'm so glad you're here and you are in for a treat. We're going to talk about something a little fancy. Well, for some, you'll think it's fancy. For others, you'll be like, oh, Kanae, I've been doing that for years. But I guarantee you have not seen it done in this way. So today we're going to talk to Sheila Ruffin, and Sheila is the CEO of Soka Yacht Club. And not only that, but Sheila is a graduate of Hampton University, Howard School of Law. She studied abroad in England in a program associated with Oxford University and at the University of Western Cape in South Africa. Ms. Ruffin earned her Certified Travel Associate designation from the Travel Institute and has years of experience in the travel and tourism industry. She is also a licensed environmental and energy attorney. And that matches up really well with yachting. So we're going to talk to her all about that, plus a plethora of other things. I have so many questions, and I'm sure you do too. So please join me in welcoming our guest today, Sheila Ruffin. Hey, Sheila.
Hello. Thank you so much for that amazing introduction.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for being so freaking educated. I was like, well, dang.
Well, thank you. You have to thank my mother. She paid a lot of my student loans.
Good job, Mom. Yes. So we're going to talk about that education. We're going to come back to that. And a couple of things I want to kind of set the stage for what we are going to talk about, mainly because, man, there's so many things we could talk about, but we only got a certain amount of time. So I know we're not going to get to everything, but I definitely want to talk about this industry that you work in and how your job, like mine, is to help people relieve stress or at least forget it for the time that they're with you. And but you have a certain amount of stress going on yourself, and so how do you kind of maneuver and navigate that? But then I also want to talk about the fact that we cannot overlook, and you guys can't see this, but Sheila, like me, is an African American woman, and she's in a very white male dominated industry. And on Presidential Experience, we talk about everything, no holds barred. So we have to address that and what that's like for you, stress wise, but also the benefits too, because I don't want us to look at the negative and not look at the positive. And then, I mean, we just have to know your story. Like, how the heck did you get here? So we start every episode with the question, what is your idea of prosperity? So tell me about that. What's your idea of prosperity?
Yeah, thank you so much, Kanae, first of all, for having me on this amazing podcast and the opportunity to speak to your listeners. So, my idea of prosperity actually goes hand in hand of why I started my own yacht vacation travel agency. As you kind of already alluded to, this industry is very much dominated by white older men. And with that, it comes with traditionalism and being extremely stoic. My idea of prosperity is actually the total opposite of that. Yachting does not have to be traditional and it doesn't have to be stoic. Prosperity to
Mm.
me means living your best life according to oneself. And so you don't have to follow tradition. You don't have to follow the 10 ways of living, but it's very much a self assessment of what do I think, what does it mean for me to be prosperative or to prosper rather?
Mhm.
So for me, I like to have fun. I like to laugh. I like excitement and joy. And that's really what my yacht vacation travel agency is all about. It's about doing things that the yacht industry has not done for the past several decades. So with us, we're going to play some soca music, which is a Caribbean musical genre. We're going to laugh. We're going to have fun. And we're not going to allow anyone to tell us what we should be doing because it's according to what we think. It means also giving back to those that do not have. So, for my yacht vacation travel agency, we, as a millennial, because millennials really care about this, we have initiated a campaign called Helping Hands. And so to prosper, I believe that if you give, you will receive. And so we offer our clientele a 1 hour volunteer opportunity to include or to plant rather shrubbery and trees. And that's my environmental energy side coming out because I know
Ah,
you
yeah.
mentioned that that's my type of law that I practice. But we want to ensure that Caribbean destinations do not continue to bear the brunt of hurricane and storm damage. And so I do believe in Proverbs, right? Where if you give and give and give, then people will return that back to you 10 or 100 times. So that's what it means to me to be a prosperous and productive individual.
Yes, yes, we speak the same language. I love fun and laughter and dancing to the beat of your own drum, like all of
Right.
that. It's so and giving back. Yes. All of that. I'm with you. That is so cool. Now, what I know is you talked about tradition and there being this like this is prosperity. It falls into this box and you got to be this way. And it's just not true. So I like how you separated that out. Like you don't have to follow tradition to be prosperous. You can decide yourself what that is. But what I know is that for many people, owning a yacht is their idea of prosperity, sort of.
Hmm.
But you don't sell yachts. You lease them or rent them out for a certain amount of time or something like that, right? Because what's the
Yep.
saying? Like the best 2 days in a boat owner's life is the day he buys it or the day he sells it or something
There
like
you
that.
go. Yes.
Right. So is it really prosperous to own a boat? Or do we just is that just in that little box, that traditional box, and we haven't let go of it because of what society says? Oh, if you own a boat, you're prosperous. But do you even really want to own a boat? Or is that just what
Renee.
society told you to do?
Oh
So
my
I guess the
gosh.
question
Yes.
around that is, so let's say you are trying to get out of tradition and you're like, okay, maybe I don't want to own a boat. I just want to have it like every once in a while, once a year or twice a year or
Yes.
something like that. How do they utilize this yacht club service that you have?
Yeah, I mean, you make such an amazing point. And one thing that your listeners will understand about me is I don't believe in being cliche. And so I'm not just telling you that because I want to impress you or your clientele or your listeners, but I'm telling you that because it's so true, right?
Mm,
I think, and I'm a millennial, so I have to speak from millennials' point of view.
mhm,
Baby boomers have this uh, uh, um, being in four corners way of thinking that when I become successful, right, I can dictate what success is by purchasing,
mm,
right, and buying. Millennials, we do not think that way. And you make a mention of the example of purchasing a yacht, right? So let's take that example. Baby boomers will purchase a yacht, and that's being prosperous.
prosperous. Hmm.
For millennials, we don't care about that because number one, we really don't care what people think about us. Number two, the maintenance and the insurance, the upkeep, the
The
laws,
gas.
the gas, the dock fees, all of that is so much. And millennials, we don't care about the headache. We just want to have fun and enjoy life. And so, if that means that we're going to charter a yacht for a few weeks out the year or maybe for a month, and that's what we're going to do. But
Mm.
baby boomers like to have and hold and have things that are tangible. And millennials, we're more about the intangible. How does it make us feel? Where we're on that yacht chartering, it makes us feel alive. But
Yeah.
other generations don't think that way. And I think that's one of the things that separates our two generations is that very idea of holding versus feeling.
Yeah. And I think that I'm a Gen Xer, and I think Gen Xers are similar to baby boomers in the sense that we were still buying in order to feel prosperous. It wasn't about our experiences. I think we started to get that. We try to like toggle between those two, but we still very much were around the material and and degrees. We were like,
Yeah.
okay, I've got to get my stuff. Right. I got to get my titles, and Gen Xers love their titles. So I don't,
Hmm.
I'm a Gen Xer, but I don't even care. And even in our company, I'm just like, what's your title? Put whatever you want on your business card. I don't care. Like, just get the job done. We're not into titles, but a lot of Gen Xers are into their titles and they mean a lot. And like you said, to your point, millennials are a lot different from that. It's not about the title, it's about meaning, which is what we really talk about on this podcast is how do we turn this money into meaning? Forget about what society says or what the last generation says, even what our parents did. In fact, I'm looking at my parents and I'm like, mm, you look a little stressed, and I don't want that lifestyle that you have.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah,
to do
definitely.
something different.
And let me mention as well, because you mentioned the titles, and that's such a amazing point as well, because my title is the boss. I'm fine with, being introduced as a CEO or the owner or the founder. But the reason why I chose the boss is because people don't use that title. And because I am in an industry where African American
Mm.
women millennials are not in this industry, let alone the boss, but
Yeah.
because I think people believe that the top of the top in the yacht industry are older white men. So when people see me, I go, no, honey, I am the boss. So that's the title that if anything I care about is that title because it says a lot more than just the title. It says that, you know, although Black women are not in this industry, I'm here and I'm here to stay. And second of all, you're getting some spice
Mhm.
for me to put into this very industry.
Yes, yes. So I want to circle back 1 second to something you said earlier, and then I want to fast forward to get go deeper there. So one of the things you were talking about, or we were talking about, was this idea that ownership is what you have to have rather than chartering. And I remember when we were growing up, I have a couple of yacht experiences in my past, and when we were growing up, we had friends, or my mom had friends and my dad had friends that had yachts. And then we would just go and hang out with them a couple of times during the summer and we would get on our yacht fix. Right. And so
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
we didn't never, I don't know that we had enough money to actually own a yacht. Um,
mm-hmm.
but I remember us having that experience and enjoying it and then not having the stress of all that other stuff that we talked about and all those other fees that you talked about. But I
Yeah.
also remember I had a friend who had a lot of material things, and this was in my late 20s. And a yacht was one of those things. And he had so much stress. He had two different houses and a wife and kids and horses. He just had so much stuff, and he was always stressed out. And I remember one day, and this is actually a very life defining moment for me. And he called me and he was like, I'm so stressed. I'm so stressed. Like, I got all this stuff happening. I know I haven't talked to you, but I'm going to come over and we're going to catch up. But I'm going on a date because he was getting divorced. So I'm going on
Mm-hmm.
a date. After my date, I'm going to come over. I said, okay. So that never happened. I never got a call from him. I fell asleep the next morning. I call
Mhm.
him and they say he had a heart attack because he was so
Oh,
stressed.
wow.
Yes.
That is
So
so wow.
instead of ownership, charter is a way to relieve some stress around the ownership of having a boat or any other thing. So talk to me about how chartering even works. I want to charter. How does it work? Because I've never chartered a yacht before. So tell me about that, Sheila.
Sure. And you make, girl, you were just the point queen, okay? Because you're just making so many amazing points. So how does charter work, right? We are Soka Yacht Club LLC, but our doing business as name is Soka Caribbean Yacht Charters. And so we are a yacht vacation travel agency that specializes in all-inclusive, stress-free, personalized yacht vacation charters to a Caribbean oasis.
Mm,
If individuals do not know what the definition of charter is, it's simply to rent. I mean, that's what it is. I would give an example of think of Airbnb.
mm,
Unless this is a point of ownership, right? You don't have to own the vacation home anymore. You can just Airbnb.
mm-hmm.
Or let's think of Uber and Lyft. You don't have to own a car. You can
Or a
just rent.
driver.
Right, right? You can just rent out a car for 15, 20 minutes to get to where you're going. And it's the same thing with yacht charters, is that you contact my company via our website or social media or email or phone number, and you tell us what destination you would like to go to, what type of yacht you would like to charter or rent, and how many people you have and what your dates are. And we will then create a package for you. And so yacht charters are again similar to a Airbnb home on water. You're
Mm,
going to charter your Airbnb, or what we say, rent your Airbnb, and you're going to charter or rent a yacht for a 5 night, 6 day minimum. And on there, that's going to be your sleeping accommodations. That's going to be your sleeping quarters, if you will. Everything is included. Your personal chef, your gourmet cuisine, your premium liquor, your water sports are included. Even for one of our yachts, we include a stewardess as well. And your personal captain is included. And so you don't even have to think. You're just going to sit back and relax, and we're going to take care of everything for you. In addition to that, we believe in giving our clientele a door to dock to door services. So, Kane, not only do we do our yacht charters, but we start our clientele's vacations from the minute that they step out of their home. So they
mm.
don't have to worry about a Lyft or Uber or a super shuttle or whatever they would take usually to the airport. We're going to remove that stress, right? We're going to remove that stress away from you, and we're going to have a uniform chauffeur to come pick you up and take you to the airport as well.
Wow. That's presidential.
Try to get on your level, girl.
Shoot, I'm tracking. I'm with you. We right there. Oh, that's beautiful. And I love that it is. It takes because planning a vacation, you go in to relieve stress, but planning a vacation can be stressful, and it's
Right.
a lot. But when I was a financial advisor, one of the things that we used to say is people put more attention to planning their vacation than they do planning their retirement or planning their
Mm,
their financial plan. So people put a lot of energy in planning a vacation, and it sounds like you take a lot of those decisions off of their hands because decision making is really what's stressful, not the vacation itself. It's
right.
all the decisions that go along with it. And
Right.
it sounds like you have education. I mean, we talked about your education earlier, but it sounds like you have education in this travel area to make their lives a lot more simple and make that travel experience just more enjoyable.
Yeah, yeah. Now you make a point about the vacation itself is not stressful, but for the point of contact, The individual who is taking care of all the details, sometimes it's stressful for them too, right? Because
Mhm.
everyone is contacting them or saying, hey, what's the itinerary for today? Where are we going to eat? What time did we leave? What time? And it's like, although I'm the point of contact of this vacation, can I enjoy my vacation?
Ooh.
So for those leaders and their family or their friends, we really take the stress away from you on vacation. So, your family members or your friends are not continuously coming to you to ask you questions. Instead, we're going to handle everything. So even that leader of the vacation can relax as well.
Girl, that is so good. And I just say that because my sister, we just celebrated my sister's 50th birthday a couple months ago. And that's how it was. It was,
Mhm.
everybody trying to like, well, what's today or what's not? And I'm not going here and I'm going there and where's so and so? And that point person can barely rest and barely relax because they're trying to manage it
Right.
all. Oh, that's so good. Now, here, this is just a sidebar question, and then we'll get to the
Mhm.
real thing. But if somebody wanted to, do people drive themselves? Like, do they want that much control themselves to be part of the crew? Is that experience that people want? I'm just curious.
No, that I
Okay.
mean, some people think it's crazy, right? Like, why would you do what we call in the yacht industry? It's called bareboat. And some people say, why would anyone want to do bareboat when you can have your own personal chef and your own personal captain? But yeah, there are
Mm,
people that prefer to do bareboat over having a full crew charter.
mhm,
So I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but what we do are both. We do full crew charter, and that's
mhm,
your personal chef and your captain and your stewardess on certain yachts. And then we also do bareboat. So the reason why someone would do a bareboat is because they're their own captain or their own sailor.
mm,
So maybe their yacht at home, let's say in San Diego, is maybe a 25-foot yacht or a 30-foot yacht, and at this point in time, they're not able to purchase because they don't want the stress of 45 or 50 or 60 footer. And so they would come to my agency and say, hey, we just want bareboat. I'm my own captain. And then we have a family member that loves to cook. And so we don't need the full crew. We just do bareboat. And that makes
mm,
them feel excited and
mhm.
joyful because they are the captain of a larger yacht.
Yeah. I thought it might be a thing, but I was like, I just thought I'd ask. Thanks for educating us on that. And that's
Sure,
what I
sure.
enjoy so much about doing this podcast. I learn so much. And I was really excited about meeting you. So, guys, just so you know a little bit of background, I know I tell the story and you listen, and some of these people that come on the podcast are my friends, some of them are my colleagues, some of them are complete strangers that I stalk on Instagram. Sheila being one of those complete strangers that I stalked on Instagram. When I saw a post, Operation Hope, I think, posted
Yeah.
about you, and then I just went down a rabbit hole. I was like, "What the? I have got to know this woman." And then I just fell in love with you. Like once we had a conversation and we clicked so well, and we had a lot of the same stressors ourselves as
Yeah.
CEOs. A lot of the same challenges. I am a practitioner that works primarily with men, doing men's work. People look
Mhm.
at me and they're like, "Kanae, what about women's empowerment?" I'm like, "I don't know. That's not my calling. I'm
Mhm.
so sorry.
Mhm.
There's too
Right.
enough people doing that. This is the work that I was called to do, and I love it."
Yeah.
But it's one, of course, it's a male dominated industry to work with men, and then it's like, well, you don't understand men. Oh, yes, I do, actually. And when they find that I do, they're like even more excited about working with me because how it's like the best of both worlds
Yeah.
for a man to have a woman like me who understands them, listening to them, but also who's able to be that softer, kinder, gentler, not like their friends who's going to be like, man, suck it up,
Right, right,
so
right.
let's get into that conversation about what it is like to work in a very male dominated industry. And even, and let's talk a little bit about race. Racial, I'm sure comes up. And even
Yeah.
though your customers might not be, um, offensive or something. I don't even know the right word. Like your
Yeah.
customers might connect with you, but you're in the industry. So those are two separate things. So I want to address the industry, but I also want to address how that looks for customers. Because, like I said, for me, sometimes customers are like, and when I say customers, I mean patients, are like,
Mhm.
that's interesting. I'm gonna send my husband to talk to a woman.
Mm.
I don't know about that.
Mm.
Right?
That's
But after a
interesting.
while, once the process starts, they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is so good." And sometimes they're even like, "Hey, honey, you need to go talk to Kanae. Like, go tell her I want
Mhm.
to hear that. Go talk to Kanae about that." So we join together, but it's not. It doesn't always start like that. So tell me a
Yeah.
little bit about those two separate challenges and what could possibly be stressful for you.
Everybody wants to have a private conversation. They're just having it with the wrong people. People who don't understand them, people who really aren't listening. And even if they were, they wouldn't know what to say. Maybe you're in need of a private conversation. Well, I'm here and I'm listening and I do understand you. What if you and I could talk just all about you? And by the end of our conversation, you'll have some answers. You'll have some next steps. And you'll have some laughs because I love to laugh, as you know, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while. So let's talk. Here's how. Go to presidentiallifestyle.com/private dash conversation. Everything we talk about is confidential. Go to presidentiallifestyle.com/private dash conversation. The link is in the show notes. Click the link. Book your private conversation with me today. You don't have to be stressed out. I'll show you how to reach your wealth goals without sacrificing your wellness and your relationships. Building a business doesn't have to be stressful. Let's have a private conversation and I'll guide you along the way. Now that you know you're not alone, let's get back to today's show.
So tell me
Yeah.
a little bit about those two separate challenges and what could possibly be stressful for you.
Okay. So yeah, let's hit the industry first.
Mhm.
Very male, white male, older dominated. And so I am a triple minority, African American, woman, and millennial.
Mm.
And I think by having I don't want to say a triple whammy, because what I like what you said earlier is not let's just talk about the bad, but also the good. So by having the trifecta, I'll use that word. Um, Let me do the bad first. The bad first is I think some industry colleagues, they don't think I belong.
Mm.
My grandfather was a boater, but he wasn't a yachter. So I don't have a long list of family members who've been doing this or who've been in this industry that can get passed down to me. So I think some industry colleagues feel that also because I'm young, I have a lot to learn.
Mm.
I will say that I was in Barcelona for the Super Yacht Show in May of last year. And while visiting some of these super yachts, some of them were over 40 million USD. I went to actually go tour one of the yachts. And I was the only on in one particular day. I'm not sure about all the other days, but on one particular day at this given moment of a 5 hour span, I was the only person of color. So not just the only black person, literally the only person of color. And I was the only American.
Mm.
So I went up to this super yacht and I said, hey, I would like to tour. And this woman who was European, she looked at me as if I don't, it was just a look of disgust, as if, what are you doing coming to this yacht? And she said to me, this yacht is only for people that can afford it. And I was so upset and so frustrated and so disappointed. I just walked away and I had to regroup. I cannot tell you that I got the gumption to tell her, honey, I can't afford it, because I was so shocked that that was the way I was treated.
Yeah.
But other individuals just went through that yacht as if it was nothing. So I have experienced that part of the industry before, previously.
Wow. Yeah, it's
However,
just
the
so
good part. Oh,
blatant.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just saying, it was just so blatant. She was like unapologetic for her prejudice.
Very much. It was it was just out there. Um, However, the good part is, because I am different via three ways, right? The trifecta, is that people love to see that I'm bringing something new. It's a fresh face. It's someone who is an exhibitor at a yacht show or a boat show, and she loves dancing, or she loves to look different, or she's going to wear her hot
Mhm.
pink lipstick. No one does that at these industry yacht shows, because again, it's very traditional. The other thing that the yacht industry has, I think slowly but surely they're getting into, is that I'm trying to educate them that persons of color and millennials, we are worth billions of dollars. African Americans, uh, in 2018, we added about $56 billion towards the US travel market.
Mm.
Hispanic Americans over 40 billion last in 2018. And so, and Asian Americans are the number one most wealthiest demographic in the United States. So, in
Wow.
educating the industry to say, if you keep on overlooking persons of color, then this industry is going to die out. Baby boomers are dying out, and millennials, we're coming into our most wealthiest season come 2026 to 2029. That's going to last 20 years. So, if you don't get these demographics now, and I am the anchor between the yacht industry and persons of color and millennials to do this, then use me. I'm here to help both sides, right? And so I think that's the good and the bad side.
Mhm.
Um, Regarding my clientele, they love me, uh, because
Yay.
of the good part of the industry. I'm different. I bring excitement. I bring joy. I'm fun. I'm fresh. I have great ideas. I'm different. So yeah, my clientele, they love me.
Yay. Yes. And I thought you'd say that. I just wanted to address it because the same thing for me. I sit in my office or sometimes virtually with, well, usually when it's an older white male, and I'm talking, when I say
Mhm.
older, I mean 70s. Sometimes that's how
Mm.
old my clients are, because I specialize in stress management and anger management, PTSD, and a lot of times those are just older white males. And
Mhm.
so when I sit with a man like that, and people think like, well, how did you all connect? And I'm like, people just want to be listened to. Okay.
Wow.
Do
Yeah.
you know this man has gone 70 years and not been heard?
Oh, wow.
So yeah, he doesn't care what I look like. He just cares that I listen.
Wow. That's
Mhm.
oh gosh. Going 70 years and not being heard. That is very interesting.
Yes. And what I know about men, and this is something that I'm going to talk to you about in a second. So, y'all, when I give my idea, do not steal it, but I'm going to tell you here anyway. But I do these workshops and retreats with men. And what men tell me is that they don't feel heard. It's they have to fit into that traditional box in order to be a man. It's like, I gotta do this for my wife and do this for my kids, and I have to, have a certain job or own a certain business. Like, they have to fit into these boxes in order for them to feel manly. That's what society has imposed on them, and they have received it. They've accepted it. And then they get to 40, 45, 50, 55, somewhere usually between 45 and 55 years old. They're like, I disagree. I don't want
Mm,
to do this, but they don't know how to shift. They don't know how to change. And eventually they come to me, or they just rage against the machine kind of thing, and they figure it out and they change. But it can last 2 years, similar to menopause, where with them just pushing and forcing and fighting through it and losing sleep and eating improperly because they're
yeah.
just so unfulfilled. And I feel like what you do, this this yacht charter is a way to allow men to say, you know what? I'm going to do something different in a different way. And like you said, you don't have to follow those traditions. You can do it in a different way. You can have some fun. You can
Yeah,
laugh. You don't have to be stoic and
right.
wear khakis.
Yeah. That is so true. And let me tell you, in the yacht industry, khakis are extremely prevalent. So imagine me coming in looking extremely different.
Right. So here's my idea. I'm thinking about a retreat on a yacht. And it just sounds like absolutely the perfect thing to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we can brainstorm about that now, but let's just imagine that me and my company, Presidential Lifestyle, for our presidential experience members, if we were going to charter a yacht for, let's say, a special 5 or 10 patients or clients or members, what would that look like?
Honey, let me tell you, I would love for your clients, your listeners to definitely do this, especially because what you mentioned about going decades without being heard. I
Mm.
mean, you said that maybe 10 minutes ago, and it has stuck with me. Um, so what will happen is, and I'm talking to your clients and your listeners now. So what
Yes.
will happen
I'm just kidding.
is
You guys can't steal my idea. Definitely call Sheila. It was my idea.
so Kane, you and I would work together to create a special customized itinerary because you know your clients, you know your listeners, and you know exactly what that need is, and how we could both work together to meet that need. But I
Mhm.
want to mention two things. One of the reasons why I created an itinerary that's on my website, and it's called Yogatarian.
Mm.
Yoga and vegetarian together.
Oh,
Yogatarian. Yogatarian itinerary. And that really would benefit your clients in this amazing conference, this water conference that we would want to do, because it brings in stress relievers of yoga and vegetarian dishes, to really get people to clear their mind, clean their heart, and just to really relax, because we both know, and your listeners know as well, that life is stressful. It's extremely stressful from day in to day out, from the time you wake up to the time that you go to sleep. Life is filled with so many stressors. And so that's why I created Yogatarian. The other option would be we do corporate yacht charters.
ah.
And this would be a company, a nonprofit, an organization, a firm, or what have you, that would bring their clients or their employees to do this corporate yacht charter. And we really push for team building. So we do
Mhm.
scavenger hunts where you would maybe create teams of your clients, and they would work together against, of course, the other team, right? But work together to solve all these different puzzles or all these different clues that we have around the island. And that helps. Having someone to say, I got you, or we're going to figure it out, or don't give up, that releases stress as well. And we also
Mhm.
do things such as, oh gosh, I can't, not haunted houses, but
Oh, like escape
mystery dinner.
rooms?
Yeah, mystery dinner theaters.
Oh, mystery dinner.
Yep, yep.
Yes.
So we would create a mystery dinner theater type of environment. And so again, these teams will work together to say, you know what? I think Kanae is over there being a little bit too quiet. We know her personality. I think she did it. No, but look at the way she's standing. No, Kanae wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
I think these are two great options for you guys.
Oh, yes. I love that. So I love
Kanae
that
the
you
killer.
have
Kanae the killer.
and then we're like the room will be split. Half the room would say like she absolutely did it. And the other room is like, no, not my Kanae.
Well, we can't make you the killer. We have to make you, I don't know, the captain or something that knows who killed but did not.
I love that you guys have so many ideas. I love that you can customize it, get, that fun that you talked about out of it, get the stress relief. And then, like you said about the yogatarian, you can clear your heart, clear your body, your spirit, really rejuvenate on one end, or like go hard and think and mental, and build teams. And so it's like you have so many choices. There's no tradition in it. It's like make it your own. Allow us to bring our expertise to you and your ideas and what you want to feel. Because what I heard you say is, tell me how you want to feel. Let me tell you how to get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's kind of what I say to my patients. Tell me how you want to feel. How you feel now? Stressed? Okay, how do you want to feel? Oh, peaceful. Got you. Here's the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why this work is so good. And when I say this work, I mean like this stress management work that you and I do this. And it doesn't have to be on the luxury lifestyle. We just both happen to have luxury brands, but it
Right.
doesn't have to be on the luxury lifestyle. Like yoga, I work at a salt room sometimes and they do yoga there, and that costs like $25. So you can do it for $25. You can do it for $25,000.
Exactly. Whatever your pockets and your purse allow. Well, in your case, it would be their wallets, right, for the men. But
Yes.
whatever, and I like that you said that because, at the end of the day, of course, we want to make money, right? Of course, we want to promote our business and go hard for our business. But at the end of the day, I think we just want people to try as best as you can to live a stress-free life. We know it's difficult, but if you can talk to Kene about your problems or come to me to do a yacht vacation, whatever you can do, just try because life is way, way, way too short to allow stress to take you out.
Yes, absolutely. Like I talked about my friend Ken, who he
Exactly.
allowed stress to take him out. And I like what you said about try as best you can. And then once you do your best, allow us to do our best for you.
Exactly. We got to meet in the middle. Exactly.
Yes. Oh, we could talk for so much longer, but I know we gotta go. We both run businesses that we need to get back to, and then the listeners probably have things that they need to go and do as well. So I thank you guys for listening all the way through. And for those of you that are Presidential Experience members, we're going to open up for questions with Sheila to have you ask questions. And when we get those questions back, we're going to field them and ask just if you have questions, because I know for some of them, many of you, this is new. This is like, what? And so don't pretend like you know. And because if you pretend like you know, you're not going to take the step. So just tell us what you need to know in order to take a step to do something like this, because I'm serious about planning our retreat on the yacht, but only so many of you are going to be able to go and others are not. So for those of you that don't make it in to the presidential experience on the yacht, you might have to do it yourself. And maybe it's a family reunion, or maybe you renew your vows. I don't know. I got plenty of ideas. I probably need to get a second job at Soca Yacht Club. Because man, my brain is like, ooh, 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 ooh.
Yeah.
It's like going crazy over here. So yeah. So guys, if you have ideas like what you're thinking about and you want to know just how it will work, let us know. Let's get connected. Sheila, how can people find you? How can they connect if they do have like, hey, I do have something coming up and I want to at least explore this idea?
Yeah, sure. So thank you for the opportunity to allow me to speak about how people can get in contact with my company. We have our website, which is www.soca, SOCA, yachtcharters.com. So www.socayachtcharters.com. We have our email info@socayachtcharters.com. We're also on social media. So on Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Our handle is at Soca Yacht Charters. And then our phone number is 703-647-3647. So those are the ways that people can get in contact with us.
Good. Thank you. Thank you for all that detail. And this is just a side note that I have to compliment you on. Thank you for speaking slowly, because sometimes people speak really fast. And I'm like, this is the most important thing you just said all day.
Exactly. That's exactly why I take my time.
Yes. Like, so yeah, guys, because I get phone messages. I get, I listen to podcasts and they're like, oh, find me on Instagram. What? Did you really want me to find you?
Sure. And you make, girl.
Like, yeah. So remember, slow down. I really do want to find you. So thank you. I appreciate that.
You're
And
welcome.
man, so I just want to thank you for taking the time out, giving us all this great education, and also just inspiring us to take our vacation ideas to the next level and stop living our vacations inside boxes.
Yeah. No more cruises. No more cruises. Presidential lifestyle. We're not doing any more cruises. We're going to do yachts.
Yes, totally. From now on, I'm on it. Well, guys, thank you for joining us. And for those Presidential Experience members, you're in for a treat because you get to give us your questions and get them answered. And everybody else, if you're not a member, oh my gosh, become one. Presidential Experience is where it's at. And don't you want to be presidential? All right, that's all I'm going to say about that. More to come. I'll see you next week.
Feeling stressed, wondering what's it all about? Well, you're not alone. And maybe you're not ready for a private conversation yet. Take the Life of Meaning quiz. It's the first step in determining how close or far you are in creating a life of meaning. A study revealed 76% of Americans reported feeling stress either some or all of the time in the last 30 days. The number one cause of that stress was money, not because they don't have it, but because they want more of it. But life is about more than money. It's about meaning. So take the Life of Meaning quiz and move toward peace and away from stress. It's just a click away. Go to presidentiallifestyle.com/meaning-quiz. You'll get the answers you've been looking for. You'll determine how close or far you are from creating a life of meaning. How does that sound? Then click the link. The link is in the show notes. Go to presidentiallifestyle.com/meaning-quiz. Go now. If you're not quite ready for a private conversation, start here. Hey guys, thanks for listening. Want to reduce your stress even more? Here are 4 ways you can do it. 1, send us your questions. Ask us anything about money, marriage, or maturing. You can send it to podcast@presidentiallifestyle.com. Number 2, subscribe to this podcast. You wouldn't want to miss an episode. That would be stressful. And number 3, get our Prosperity Report recap. It's a free resource where we share top tools and resources. Just go to presidentiallifestyle.com/blog/prosperity report. Don't worry, it's in the show notes. You won't have to remember that. And 4, if you really want to connect with us in a deep and powerful way, join our private club. Go to joinpresidentialexperience.com to find out when our doors open again. We want you to be there so you can turn your money into meaning. And if you're enjoying this podcast, go ahead and leave us a rating and a comment, and we'll be sure to thank you. And now for the legalese. Remember, this podcast is not to replace professional counsel. The best advice comes from a professional you know. The topics discussed in this podcast are general in nature and are for informational and entertainment purposes only. We encourage you to meet with a professional that you can discuss your specific situation with, whether therapeutic or otherwise. That's all for now. I'll see you next episode. And remember, you can have wealth in all of its forms. Believe it, and you will soon see it.